Hello and welcome to round 3 of the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championship presented by Motul. Following on from the spectacle of racing under lights in Sydney, we now head north to Queensland for the first of our back-to-back rounds in the Sunshine State. The layout of Queensland Raceway, situated 45 minutes west of Brisbane, may look simple, but this track is extremely hard to master and has been the scene of many battles since the first ASBK race here 25 years ago. Last time out at Sydney Motorsport Park, it was the local man, Yamaha Racing Team's Crew Halliday, that took victory in race 1, before championship leader Josh Waters bounced back to take victory in a wet race 2 under lights ahead of young guns Brock Pearson and Max Stouffer. Championship points heading into this weekend sees McMartin Racing with K-Tech's Waters leading on 109.5 points, 25.5 ahead of Crew Halliday in second. Harry Voigt, who's now headed back to Spain to contest the Junior World Championship, holds third ahead of Brock Pearson on 71.5 and 2022 champion Mike Jones in fifth on 61.5 points. In qualifying, it was Mad Mike Jones that grabbed the advantage with a new fastest ever ASBK lap, a blistering 107.15 set early in the session. Light rain towards the end of the session thwarted any attempt to dethrone Jones from position number 1. One man that has been so busy over the last couple of weeks, Troy Herfoss, he's been racing in America, arrived back in Australia on Thursday night. Steve Martin caught up with him.
Troy, welcome to Queensland Raceway. Good to have you back on the Desmo Sport Ducati for round 3 here. How are you going with it?
I'm enjoying it. It's been a busy year for me, and I'm enjoying adapting to different bikes, working closely with Benny and his team. It's been a lot of fun for me so far, and I'm enjoying being back in Queensland track, a track where my success started last year and my luck turned, so really excited for the weekend.
How are you gelling with the track here at Queensland Raceway?
This track's like home for me. It suits my style, a lot of hard braking, point and shoot. I'm excited to ride the Ducati here. It's an interesting combo. It's probably a track that the guys have struggled out with this bike, but this weekend we hope to turn the tables a bit and give Benny a good result.
There was a time that it didn't look like you were even going to have a ride in Australia here. Obviously, you left the team you were with last year. You've come into this team. You're getting some great results, but you're also in a bit of a mentoring role there, helping Brock out as well.
Yeah, look, like first and foremost, my goal for this year was to get myself overseas, and I've been able to do that. And then, being such good friends with Benny, the workshop's close to home. We started off in a testing role. The excitement builds, and here we are racing. It's been a good team at the moment. We're gelling well.
Now, you've actually had a crazy career, haven't you? If you look back at it, I mean, you were a pro rider back in America when you were 17.
Yeah, it feels like yesterday I was sitting in a container in Crookwell working with my dad, and the phone rings, and Husqvarna's on the other end of the line, and I've come to America and race a super moto bike. Always had a dream of being a road racer. Things just happened really quick for me at the start of my career, and all of a sudden I'm racing in America, X Games, and I managed to win a title over there, and springboarded me into road racing here in Australia.
What about riding the Indian in America in the AMA series over there? I mean, wow, I don't think many of us saw that coming, but the baggers over there, how's all that going?
Man, it's so much fun. The bike's huge, it's got so much torque, it's not a lot of electronic aid. You're at one with the bike, and whatever your throttle hand puts into that bike is what you get, and it creates really good racing. And the rivalry between Indian and Harley is immense, it's real, and both manufacturers want to win really bad, and it's a great thing to be a part of.
Well, let's put our attention to this weekend. I mean, should I go out and put a little bit of money on you for the win or not?
We don't come to the track without wanting to win, and I really want to give Benny a win. It was his birthday this weekend. My sister's getting married this weekend. I've got to give him a win. Look, there's extra pressure this weekend, and I'll be shooting for the win for sure.
All right, thanks a lot, mate. Have fun out there. Can't wait to see you on track.
Thanks, Steve.
Cameron Dunker, who's done a sensational job once again on row 4 of the grid. But no one knows this track, Steve Martin, better than the two men that raced here at the very first ASBK race 25 years ago, yourself and Chris Vermeulen.
Well, Chris, it's a little bit nostalgic this weekend for us. 25 years Queensland Raceway's been open, and we were at the first ASBK event.
Yeah, I know it was a long time ago, wasn't it, Steve? We're showing our age now, but it is a cool racetrack. It sort of looks like it's simple. It is quite easy to learn, but a really hard track to go faster. You know how to go quick around here.
Well, let's see if we do. One of my favourite turns, though, is this turn 1, the Tech Air 5 Alpine Stars corner, because it's so fast on the entry, and you've really got to keep that momentum up.
Well, it is. There's a few bumps on the way in as well. It looks like it's an overtaking opportunity, but if you want to make that move, it is a big move, and you can end up in that gravel trap very easily.
It is all about the flow, isn't it? You really do need to keep the flow up at this circuit, and it's difficult to find bike setup too.
You need to keep the flow up in this part of the track, I reckon. When we get around the other part, down the far end, it's a little bit more stop-start. So you're right with the bike setup. Do you get it working here, or do you want it to be strong on the brakes further down there?
Well, let's go and have a look.
Well, turn 3 here, Steve, at Queensland Raceway, AMMF turn. It is very different to turn 1 and 2 we were just looking at. It's all about the braking and the entry into this turn, is that right?
Absolutely. If sector 1 is the fast sector, well, this is the business sector. It really is. It's all about getting on the brakes. You come down that back straight at 280 kilometres an hour on the Superbike. Hit the brakes. You take a deep breath going in there because you don't think you're going to pull it up. It looks tight at that speed, but when you actually get here, you know what? It's actually quite flowing, so you've got to keep that mid-corner speed flow up.
It is, you're exactly right. When you turn into this turn, it does look like it tightens up, but it really opens out, and the drive out of here is important as well. But what I've noticed, Steve, new surface in the middle of this corner, so is that going to make a difference?
Well, you know what? I mean, if you feel the surface, it's actually really, really grippy. So these guys are going to have to adapt to that, take a little bit of time to get used to it, but I reckon we're going to see some lap records get broken.
Oh, that'll be cool.
The riders will have to muscle their way through those 2 left-hand corners and get down that straight and into Ducati, the final turn here.
It is really important to get out of that corner and get the drive, because it is a reasonably long straight into this corner, Steve. But again, what I'm noticing, new surface in this corner. Like we know, it is the last corner of the racetrack. It is very important, and it has been decisive in the past.
Well, remember last year, Herfoss, Jones, it came down to this corner for victory. And boy, the guy that went in didn't come out leading the race. So it can make a big difference.
It is a unique corner in the fact that it looks like a hairpin as well, Steve, but it's a very, very long hairpin, isn't it? So there are line options. You can go, do you dive in, run the bike wide and shoot it out, or do you carry the speed through the middle? Because like I say, it is a long corner, and what's important, Steve, is to get the drive out of this final turn to the finish line.
Well, there you have it, Chris. The Ducati track preview done and dusted here at Queensland Raceway. Can't wait to get the racing underway.
Well, we're getting ready to go racing for the first of our Alpine Stars Superbike races for today. As we know, this circuit does provide exceptionally close racing, and this race is going to be no different. Superbikes are go as we blast off from the line at Queensland Raceway and we head towards Alpine Stars Superbike corner. Race number 1 is underway, Steve, and it looks like everybody has managed through the entry to that corner safely. And it looked like it was a very good start for young Max Stouffer, who's in the lead, but Glenn Allerton has got away well as well. And Herfoss is up there in 4th place, ahead of Waters, who's back in 4th position and, well, 5th position with a bit of work to do.
Yeah, Mike Jones is in that 2nd position now, but already look at the attack by Glenn Allerton in the brakes. Moves himself up to 2nd, and we've had riders say that he is strong on the first couple of laps.
Yeah, someone said it earlier on today that he's been very aggressive in the early laps of races, and they expect nothing less from him here at Queensland Raceway. He's closing down now onto the back of Max Stouffer, who leads the race from Jones in 3rd position. And great start too from Herfoss. Waters in there as well. Looking back through the other field, big field of Superbikes here this weekend, rounded out by Michael Kemp back there in 19th position at the moment. But it is still Stouffer that leads. Oh, Pearson wide on the Desmo Sport Ducati in Ducati corner on lap 1.
I reckon Herfoss has just gone past Mike Jones too. Keep an eye, there he is. Herfoss is making his way forward, puts himself up into that top 3 already.
Well, Jones is more comfortable when he's leading the race than when he's back in the pack having to dogfight. No one loves a dogfight more than Troy Herfoss, riding bike number 1, the Desmo Sport Ducati, freshly back from racing baggers in America. Only arrived here back in Australia on Thursday night before the race meeting. We thought that he might have been suffering from jet lag. He's looked incredibly fresh all weekend. By his own admission, it's taking him a little bit of time to get moving, but it's race day now, and Troy Herfoss has arrived with his race face on.
Yeah, absolutely. He's in that third position. Good to see, but very impressed with Stauffer's pace at the moment. A 1:12.5 standing lap. That is a super fast standing lap. And you can see a bit of he's run wide there, let Mike Jones back through. Herfoss on the Desmo Sport Ducati makes a mistake.
Yeah, looked like he just got in there very deep into turn 4, the Honda corner.
He's going again, though. Look at that, up the inside.
Coming back on the brakes at Ducati corner. He'll run a fraction wide again. That's exactly the opposite of what happened last year when Herfoss took the race win over Jones. Jones came up the inside, ran wide, and Herfoss was able to square the corner off and get the run to the finish line. First flying lap, 1:07.544 for Max Stouffer, the fastest rider on track. As we look now to see if that is a new lap record.
You don't need to look to see if that's a new lap record.
1:07.942. There's half a second pretty much off the other lap record on the first flying lap.
And I got to say, keep an eye on Brock Pearson too. He's doing a good job just hanging in the back there, just behind Josh Waters as well.
Looked like Waters has closed up onto the back of Herfoss. So Jones has managed to get back past and is up into a third place now. We see a Ducati replay here. It is Herfoss trying to go down the inside. You can see him. He gets down the inside on the Desmo Sport Ducati bike number 1. Then, unfortunately, runs fractionally wide. And it is Jones that repays the favour that Troy Herfoss did to him last year to maintain that third position.
Meanwhile, out front, Max Stauffer's got himself a nice, handy lead. More than half a second, nearly 0.8 of a second now.
Well, Max was confident coming into this round. He said that he could consistently do low 1:07s for the entire race distance. And at the moment, he's running in 1:07.7 on that last lap. 1:07.498 for Mike Jones, fastest lap of the race. A new lap record. That's 2, Steve. I'll keep track of them as this race goes on.
And look at Jones go. He's just gone up the inside of Glen Allerton into that turn 3 there. The incredibly fast Michelin corner. Good job there by Mike Jones. He's managing to dice it out. One man in front now, Max Stauffer. Let's see how long it takes him to get that up. But Stauffer has got a second lead now.
Down to Chris.
Yeah, guys, just saw Paris Hardwick come in on the first lap. The bike just cut out on him. So team are working frantic. They got the fuel tank off, trying to work out what's going on. But this young fella's been improving every session he goes out this weekend. It's a real disappointment for him. So fingers crossed they get it going for race 2.
Yeah, let's hope so. I know he crashed the number 1 bike in qualifying yesterday afternoon, so he's on the second bike. Unfortunately, a bit of an issue there for Paris Hardwick. The BC team will be working hard to make sure he's out there in race 2 as we see a Ducati replay now of the overtaking manoeuvre on Mike Jones on Glen Allerton. That was a very swift entry into turn 2, but look at the drive that Jones gets as he goes out onto the back straight and sets sail up towards AWF corner. I don't think it's going to be long until Max Stauffer's got company.
Well, the way that Max is riding out the front, I mean, Max's last lap was a 1:07.6, not too shabby. So he's going to have to break lap records if he wants to catch him right up. There's 0.2 between them now. You can see that he's pretty much on the back of him.
Well, Max Stauffer's whole race has been pretty much under the old lap record so far. We're on lap 7 of 16. It is Herfoss, Allerton and Waters that are disputing the last place on the podium, but Jones now is right onto the back of Max Stauffer's Penrite Racing machine. So it is the 2 Yamaha R1s out front at the moment. The factory machine with Mike Jones on board bike number 46 and the Penrite Racing machine of Max Stauffer. Look at Jones, the way he flows into that corner. Exactly what you're talking about.
Wide.
They're both run wide, but you can do that at that corner, Steve. It's one of the few corners that you can get away with a manoeuvre like that.
Yeah, especially when you take your opponent with you, which is what he did a little bit there. He took Max a little bit wide too. If Max could have cut back up the inside, that wouldn't have happened. But now Mike Jones is in the dangerous position that nobody wanted him to see. Like, here we go on the Ducati replay. We'll just have another look. Mike Jones comes from a long way back. He goes in deep. He knows he's deep, but he hangs Max out to dry. Max can't turn in like he wanted to. They're both wide now, and Jones makes the pass, and that spells danger for all the other riders because Jones is going to put the hammer down now.
You could see that Jones was on the limit because his back wheel was off the ground, but he never looks like he's on the limit, does he? He's so smooth, and especially down there into turn 3. Also, look at Crew Halliday. His teammate has closed right up onto the back of Glenn Allerton as well. Now, both of these riders are from southwestern Sydney. It's fair to say that they're not on each other's Christmas card mailing list, so it's going to be very interesting what happens over the next couple of laps as Allerton tries to stay in this battle for the podium. Down into turn 3 we go. It is still Herfoss that leads from Waters, Allerton and Halliday in this battle for the last place on the podium.
Halliday's start was, got to say, average again. So let's just see what he can do.
Racing Road we go. It is lap 8 of this 16-lap race. We are halfway through the first of our Alpine Stars Superbike races here at round 3 of the My Bike Motorcycle Insurance Australian Superbike Championships presented by Motul at a very, very fast Queensland Raceway. We've already broken the lap record multiple times in this race, and Mike Jones has now opened up a 0.8 of a second lead over Max Stouffer, who is holding down second position with a very handy lead over the battle for the podium that we're looking at right now, with Herfoss currently in third position, but Waters is on a charge, Steve, and Glenn Allerton and Crew Halliday, they're trying desperately to maintain their position in this battle as, well, the pressure is really now being applied by Herfoss, who is so deep on the brakes, and Josh Waters. Perfect opportunity for an update from Chris Vermeulen at half race distance.
Yeah, the race has been fantastic so far, really enjoying it, but unfortunately for Ryan Yanko, his Ducati stopped during there. I think the clutch expired, just too hard on the start, and yeah, unlucky for him, he had to retire from that race as well. So 2 mechanical retirements. Let's hope these guys can be out for race 2.
Yeah, well, these bikes are putting out a lot of power now, Phil. They really are. And this track, it's pretty much always, you're up in the high end of the power, high speed. Everything's under a lot of load. So all of those things that, you know, maintenance items like clutches, bearings, chains, sprockets, you need to keep on top of all of that.
So a lot of pressure being applied not only to the equipment, Steve, but also to the back of Troy Herfoss's Desmo Sport Ducati by the K-Tech or the McMartin Racing with K-Tech team of Josh Waters. Look how close Crew Halliday is also too, onto the back of Glenn Allerton's GT Racing BMW M1000 RR. So we've got 2 Yamahas out front, then we've got 2 Ducatis in 3rd and 4th position, then we've got the M1000 BMW and Crew Halliday's Yamaha rounding out that top 6. Back in 7th position is Brock Pearson. Arthur Cece's on the stop and seal machine this weekend in 8th. Ant West having a great weekend on the Yamaha R1 is holding down 9th, and Brian Starring rounds out the top 10. Yeah,
good to see Starring, you know, out there, but I just expect a little bit more from him this weekend. He had such a good start for the weekend, always in the 7s. He hasn't been able to nip into the 7s for some reason this time out. Hopefully they can get that bike sorted for next time out. Same with Anthony West. He was so good. Take my hat off to Arthur Cece's, though, riding a new bike this weekend for the Stop and Seal team, moving from the Unitech team, and he's gelled with it pretty well. 108.1, impressive lap time from him. 107.9 his fastest lap.
Ant West has just done his fastest lap of the race, back in 9th position too, Steve, with a 107.951. As we continue to focus on this battle for the podium, and also if Crew Halliday can find his way past Glenn Allerton. But that's where Herfoss is good, isn't it? On the brakes down there into to turn 3, but then he also gets great drive. Well, the gap for Mike Jones is now just over a second, Steve.
Yeah, and Jones, he's still in the 107.8. He was the fastest man on track last time round, but he's just eking away now. He's not like laying down the gauntlet. So, you know, he's got it all in hand. 1 second, he'll see that on his pit board as he goes past and be happy with that. But what a ride Max Stouffer's doing. Like, he's got 1.6 seconds back to Troy Herfoss. There's Westy trying to make a move.
Yeah, contact between Ant West on board bike number 13 and also the stop and seal machine of Arthur Cece's. So the Addicted to Track machine comes up the inside, and Westy is now trying to focus on Brock Pearson, who's currently holding down 7th position just ahead.
Yeah, Westy's got a good turn of speed about him now, hasn't he?
Well, he has. He wrapped up, of course, the New Zealand Superbike Championship over the break here. Oh, Herfoss! How late on the brakes do you want to be into AMMF corner and still manages to keep the bike somewhere near the preferred line? And, well, that's just typical Troy Herfoss, isn't it?
Well, it just shows you those two different styles. The same lap time done two completely different ways. For sure, Waters is quicker in the middle of the corner.
Max Stouffer has closed up onto the back of Mike Jones. On the last lap, Steve, Stouffer did a 1:07.9 and Jones did an 8:1, so 0.2 of a second, and you can see that visibly on track now as Crew Halliday makes a big lunge up the inside. The bike starts to go a little bit sideways, but Allerton was on the outside. There was no way he could cut back onto the inside. So Crew Halliday is now up into 5th position as we start the 13th lap of this race. So 12 completed laps. Fastest man on the last lap was the man that's just done his fastest lap of the race, Troy Herfoss, a 1:07.589.
Wow, that's a pretty impressive time for this time of the race. 1:07.5 for Herfoss on the Ducati replay. Now look at that, squirrely for number 65, Crew Halliday there. Nips up the inside, he had to make that move. Looks like Ty Lynch has gone down, unfortunately for him. Bike doesn't look like it's, well, the screen's out of it. So
that looks like it's the exit of turn 1 in between turn 1 and turn 2, the Motorcycling Australia corner.
Yeah, probably a front end lose there, you would think, and he's wheeling it away now.
Well, we're on lap 15 now, so this is the penultimate lap, Steve, and the gap for Mike Jones is out to 1.7 seconds, but there is 0.6 of a second between Herfoss in 3rd place and Max Stouffer there on bike number 27. You can see Stouffer starting to get a little bit out of shape as he comes out of Michelin corner and down the back straight.
He will be giving it everything he's got to try and hold off Herfoss, that is for sure. And Waters has got to be thinking, what do I got to do to get past this guy? For sure, he'll say after the race, I'm quicker than him, but I can't get past him. Well, you're going to have to start better. You're going to have to find a way. You're going to have to dig deep, change the setup. I don't know what it is, but...
Herfoss has run a fraction wide on the exit of Honda corner, or mid-corner really, wasn't it?
He gets away with it.
But he also was closing right up onto the back of Max. So Max has now got a small buffer. Front wheel in the air for Herfoss as he comes out of Racing Road and down the straight into Ducati corner. So he's now the 2 Yamahas and the 2 Ducatis that are going to sort out the final order of positions on the podium as we start the last lap. 15 laps down. Last lap board issued by Brendan Ferrari there, you can see. And Mike Jones has a 2.2 second lead over Max Stouffer, but Stouffer's position is not secured by any stretch of the imagination because he's got a rampaging Troy Herfoss closing up from behind on board the Desmo Sport Ducati bike number 1. He's desperate to take another podium, but he'd rather make it 2nd than 3rd.
Yeah, I mean, the way that Herfoss is going, it could come down to that final corner pass if he can close right up. He's run really wide there.
Well, he's run really wide, but once again, Steve, as you pointed out, he's got away with it. He's got great drive out of the corner. Waters wasn't close enough due to the extremely aggressive late braking of the Troy Herfoss machine down into turn 3 that he couldn't come back. Can he launch something at the final corner as we come out of Racing Road for the final time? Jones has got a comfortable lead. He's going to take victory. It's out to 2.4 seconds now as Jones negotiates the final corner. Gives someone a short back and sides there as he makes his way through that corner.
Waters up the inside.
He stopped it and turned it, and there's going to be a drag race from the 2 Ducatis to the line. Waters could very well get it as Jones takes the victory. Max Stouffer takes 2nd position, and Herfoss has just been pipped on the line by the smallest margin. Josh Waters takes a fantastic podium. He was putting the pressure on Herfoss for the entire race and ends up taking the 3rd place on the podium. Crew Halliday takes 5th, Allerton 6th, Brock Pearson takes 7th, as the rest of the field make their way through. What a race. Congratulations to Mike Jones. New lap record, race win after setting pole position. A great start to your weekend.
Wow. And well done, Maxi Stouffer. What a podium that was. He rode brilliantly in that race. Got a great start, kept his head. Last lap, a 1:08.3 from him too. So pretty impressive stuff.
So here we have confirmation of the results, and it is Mike Jones takes the win on board the Yamaha Racing Team R1 with a 2.4 second buffer over Max Stouffer on the Penrite Racing Yamaha R1. Josh Waters on the McMartin Racing with K-Tech Ducati V4R rounds out the podium. Troy Herfoss held down that third position for most of the race, but eventually finishes in fourth. Crew Halliday in fifth, Glenn Allerton in sixth, Brock Pearson in seventh, West in eighth, CC's in ninth in his debut for the Stop and Seal team, and Brian Starring rounds out your top 10. But there's Max Stouffer, his best ever result in the Australian Superbike Championship. He was third last time out at Sydney Motorsport Park. He was third last year at Phillip Island. Second place on the podium now. There's only one better he can do in race number 2, and that's the top step.
Let's head down to Chris on the podium.
Yeah, great camaraderie between these guys. But Josh Waters, third place, still the championship lead. I think you might have extended it there. That's what a champion's ride is when things aren't right. Is that correct?
Yeah, huge thanks to my team, McMartin Racing. They did a fantastic job, all of our sponsors. The race was tough. I knew it was going to be tough. I was just trying to be smart, and it's so much being in the right position at the right time. So Troy was a little bit unlucky in the... I think something happened to his bike, but yeah. Again, huge thanks to my team, and try and make it a little bit better for the next one.
Well, you did well. Good luck for the next one.
Thank you.
There you go. It's our third place man. I'm really happy to see this young man in second place. Max Stouffer, another podium. Getting used to seeing you up here, and I like it, so congratulations.
Yeah, to be honest, I quite enjoy it, so I'm going to try and make a habit of it, and I can't thank the Penrite Racing Superbike team enough, and that was such a hard race. I got a gap at the start, I think, and I was like, I'd just keep hitting your marks, and then Mike come past, and I was just trying to get into a rhythm, but no, I was happy.
It was really good to see. Make many changes for the next one?
We'll see what happens. I struggled with a few things towards the end of the race, so the bike wasn't bad, obviously, but it can always be better, so we'll sit down, have a think about it, and yeah, see what we can do.
Well done and good luck.
Thank you.
There you go, second place, and to the man of the moment. Not a bad weekend so far. Pole position, fastest lap, new lap record, first race win. Mike Jones starting out pretty well.
Yeah, it was a good race. I got a little bit nervous at the start there because I got a bit beat up, and I could see Maxie getting away, and I knew that in practice, like, although he might have not done a string of laps together in one go, he'd done laps where he'd kept the same tyre and used it again a bit later on. So I was worried that he might have still had really good pace the race went on, but yeah, like I said, I was able to use a little bit of extra speed that we had, outright speed that we had, to close down that gap. And then when I got on the back of him, I just wanted to get in front, just set my own rhythm. So it was nice to get in the lead there and just sort of like run my own race. But man, that's like really tough. I've had 2 weeks no training, and I thought that it was all mental, but actually, like, when it comes to it, it's really hard.
Oh, well, I hope you recover for the next one. Good luck.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Well, here we are at Yamaha Racing Team, riders Mike Jones, Crew Halliday. Great to see you guys. Crew, yourself, like, the season started quite well, hasn't it, to be honest? Like, that win at Sydney Motorsport Park, it was good to see. It was good to see Yamaha finally get one over the Ducati, because Ducati have looked dominant this season, but you're giving it to them.
Yeah, it's sort of redemption from last year. It's sort of looking like it was going to happen last year before that red flag, but no, it's good. We're at the point end of the field in the points. These are the 2 rounds that I just need to get through with points. I find the Queensland rounds are my weak point. I think for me, just to get as many points as I can, minimise mistakes these 2 rounds and finish as high as I can, that's just my plan.
And it's funny, because you two guys, it's pretty much opposite, isn't it? Like, these 2 rounds are going to be good for you. You just want to get through them. So is it a different riding style? Is it a bike setup thing? Is it you just don't like each other?
Oh, no. I think me and Mike have got polar opposite riding styles. Mike's very smooth on the throttle, where I'm very aggressive. But it's strange because
you think the aggressive would suit you.
Correct, and you think the smoother would work at Phillip Island, but I seem to have it over Mike at Phillip Island. He seems to have it over me here, but I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it's a hard one.
Look,
I said it to you earlier. I think, for me here at the Queensland tracks, like, growing up as a kid and a teenager, having done so many ride days and laps around these tracks, when you get so far in the zone and you've refined your riding to such a fine level on those particular circuits, that just makes a little bit of difference.
And the bike this year, is it very different to last year? You guys are in the biggest team in the paddock, let's face it. What do Yamaha need to do to give you the package to win this championship?
Yeah, look, our bike hasn't changed from last year. It's the same model bike and all that kind of thing.
the team, you know, between Kev and Dylan at the workshop, they're always trying to extract the next little bit that they can out of it. They're always, you know, working on the bikes, you know, have them on the dyno, trying to get that last little bit out of them. But I think it's just like, the level of the competition goes up and it just pushes you to ride better. So, you know, we always try different settings and changes with the bike at the tracks, but you really almost end up coming back to what you have always run in the past. It's just what works.
It's just what works for the riders, yeah. And I touched on it before as teammates. Has it been good working together? Like, where's the benefits? Where's the negatives?
I'm not going to lie, at first I wanted to kill him. Like we do, not just do we have different riding styles, we got different personalities. You know, I'm pretty outspoken and outgoing, but Mike's sort of the quieter one. And I think over the years we just, you know, started to bond a little bit better. And I think the longer we've been together in the truck, we've sort of built a bit of a friendship there, and it's a lot nicer now than when we first started, I'll tell you.
Well, that's good to see. Great to see you guys again. Wish you all the best this weekend. Good luck.
518 days since the last race win for Mike Jones. Can he do it back-to-back on the trot, as we've seen him do plenty of times here at Queensland Raceway? The perfect weekend beckons for Mad Mike Jones. He starts out at pole position with Max Stouffer and Glenn Allerton joining him on the front row of the grid. Herfoss, Waters and Pearson on row 2.
Row 3, Crew Halliday, Arthur Ceases and Brian Starring. With your row 4, Ant West, Cam Dunker and John Litteris.
Ty Lynch, who DNF'd in race number 1, hopefully will be back out there in race number 2, along with Ryan Yanko and Eddie Leeson, the 2 Queenslanders. Paris Hardwick on the BC Performance Kawasaki. Josh Soderlin and Michael Edwards start out of row number 6. Michael Edwards, of course, one of the head men from Dictator Track Team, and also Michael Kemp, the South Australian, and Paul Linkenbar round out the field. Paul Linkenbar making the trek up the freeway from Sydney. Good to see him doing back-to-back rounds, not only at his home round at Sydney Motorsport Park, but up here at Queensland Raceway as well. Well, the hairs on my arms are starting to stand up, Steve, as we get ready for this race. I'm so excited. Race number 1 was just to whet the appetite. This one is going to be absolutely fantastic as Sam Phillips gets ready to leave the front of the grid. Red flag is up, and there goes Sam. We are ready to go racing for Alpine Stars Superbike race number 2. Jones starting from pole position. Superbikes are go, and a great start from the second row of the grid. All 3 Ducatis just blasted off the front row of the grid. And will it be Max once again that leads them through turn 1? It is. Looked like a great start from Herfoss and Waters, both up there as well. And Jones was second as they made their way through turn 1 for the first time. And Allerton into 4th place. A strong start from the M1000RR as well.
I think it was pretty much a copy and paste of the start 1, except for Herfoss, who's up in 3rd position there. But let's see what Allerton can do in the braking area now.
Jones already up into 2nd position. Yep. Waters trying to go around the outside of Glenn Allerton. Good start too from Cam Dunker ahead of Ant West.
Yep. Where's Brian Starring? He's up into 8th. That's a better start for Brian Starring too.
We'll see if he can go with the leaders as they start to make their way forward. Jones running wide, was it?
No, I don't think it was Jones. I think it was Glenn Allerton that ran wide there. Herfoss is right up there, sitting in the 3rd spot at the moment.
Oh, look at Allerton on the brakes, how much he closes up onto the back of Herfoss. We know that Herfoss is a deep and late breaker, and Allerton, he was deeper and later into Ducati corner.
I'll tell you what, Waters looked good on the brakes then too. 1:12.9 standing lap. That's pretty similar to the race they had earlier. That's very, very fast.
Pearson also getting off to a good start, sitting there in 6th position. Bike number 11, the second of the Desmo Sport Ducatis. But it is still Maxi Stouffer, the young man from Curry. Born on Australia Day. What a celebration it is for Max Stouffer. Not only Australia Day, but it's also his birthday as well. And he comes down into turn 3 with Herfoss, putting the pressure onto the back of Jones. You can see once again what was mentioned by you several times in race number 1, how deep that Herfoss can get in there on the brakes, whereas Waters looking a lot smoother as they came in there with that rolling in sort of style. Waters going with them. A little bit of a gap now starting to open up from Waters back to Brock Pearson in 6th position. The top 5 just starting to move ahead after CC's. Great start from him, sitting right on the tail of Brock Pearson in 7th position. But Max just at the moment hanging on.
Yeah, Waters got a good drive out of the second left-hander there, the Racing Road left-hander, but couldn't do much about it in the braking area. Again, with Allerton just proving to be too strong in that braking area.
Now, unlike race number 1, Max hasn't got out to a 1 second plus lead early on in the race as he did in race 1. And Jones goes up the inside on the entry into Motorcycling Australia turn.
Yeah, you see.
And as they come out through Michelin now, Max has got to tuck into the slipstream and try and go with the 3-time champion that he's looking to do his first double. Well, for a long time to go. Max back on the brakes. That's how deep you can break into here, Mike. He runs a fraction wide, but we've seen it before. You can square that corner off, and he might be in position to try and come back again on the brakes at turn 4 Honda corner.
Well, he's got to try and stay on the back wheel of Mike Jones now. He can't afford to let Mike go. Mike's got to the front a lot quicker in this one than he did in race 1.
Yeah, Mike Jones also, if he gets into that rhythm, Steve, very dangerous.
Yeah, when Mike gets pole, wins the first race, normally the second race, he's just gone. But look at Herfoss. Herfoss has really closed that gap down. Now, Herfoss is pushing the front of that bike so much.
Well, remember we heard the interview from Troy before where he said he was catching up to Max, and here's a replay, a Ducati replay of Jones is going up the inside of Max Stouffer on the entry into the corner, but Max, being Max, fights back immediately as they come down into AWMF corner turn 3. Runs a fraction wide on the exit of the corner, but they both square it off and then have a drag race down Dunlop straight towards Honda corner.
For a relative rookie to do that to someone like Mike Jones, I mean, he's brimming with confidence now, says Max Stouffer.
A 10.7814, sorry, a 17.814 for Jones, fastest lap of the race on lap 4. And that compares to the 107.434 that was set as a new lap record in race number 1 by Jones. He did that on lap 5 as well too, Steve. So we're that's at the completion of lap 4. I wonder how many more fast lap record laps those Hurley tyres have got in them.
Yep. Starring makes a dive up the inside of Brock Pearson, can't quite pull it off.
Cease has already gone past Brock Pearson as well. So Arthur's up to 6th place. An impressive debut on board the stop and seal machine.
Yeah, absolutely. Good job. 6th position for him, and he's pretty much on the back wheel of Glenn Allerton. So 1:79 for Arthur Cease. That's a very quick lap time. That's 0.2 off the fastest lap of the race, which, by the way, is set by Troy Herfoss, the man in 3rd position on the Desmo Sport Ducati. So Troy Herfoss, remember, he wants to win big time, doesn't he?
Yeah, in fact, on that last lap, Stouffer, Herfoss and Waters all faster than our race leader, Mike Jones. So that's why it's closed up again a little bit at the front with after CC's that 7.984. As we look back through the field, there is 3.2 seconds covering the top 6, 3.3 seconds covering the top 8, and 4 seconds covering the top 9. Through Racing Road we go. Jones looked like he's through that little sector there. He seems to have just something over the rest of the field, Jones, and is able to pull out that couple of bike lengths distance on board bike number 46.
Look at Herfoss though. Herfoss is closing up that gap. He's right on the back wheel now.
So Herfoss looking very racy as he closes up onto the back of Max Stouffer's machine. As I was saying before we saw that interesting overtake, that Troy Herfoss was closing in on Max in race number 1. And he used to be teammates with Max's dad in Honda for many, many years. And he thought now he's got to battle the second generation of Stouffers.
Yeah, life doesn't get any easier, does it?
So it's changing of the guard somewhat in the Australian Superbike Championship now that we've got the young guns, Brock Pearson and Max Stouffer, regularly challenging inside this top 6 or 7 as Crew Halliday makes a big move on Westy.
Yeah, we haven't even mentioned Crew because he's down in 10th position.
Yeah, well, he was actually back to 11th position earlier on in the race.
He must have absolutely blown the start.
Again. So starring an 8.6 on that last lap, still can't seem to get down to those 7s that he was doing on Friday in practice, as we see a Ducati replay here. You can see Allerton running a little bit wide, Brock Pearson going out a little bit wide as well, and then Starring, smooth as silk up the inside. Great line there through the Ducati corner for Brian Starring on board that MotoGo Yamaha.
Tricky situation now. I reckon that Starring can go quicker, but he just can't pass the way that the others can, and he's stuck at that 8.6 because that's the speed that the other guys in front of him are going. So that's his problem. But The problem that these three guys behind Mike Jones has got is that he's pretty quick. But up the inside goes to Herfoss. That's a beautiful block pass. Exactly what he needed to do.
Well, the thing is Max going to do what he did to Mike Jones and come back immediately? As he did at Jones. Not one corner later, Max Stouffer was back up the inside of Jones. Well, he's going to have to try and brake pretty deep and pretty late if he's going to outbrake Troy Herfoss. And we're at half race distance on the last lap. It was only Stouffer that had gone back into the eights for the first time. There's the Ducati replay. You can see the front end pressure. You mentioned it before, Steve, that Herfoss is putting a lot of pressure on the front end of that Desmo Sport Ducati. And in that slow motion bit there, you could actually really see how much pressure he was putting on it as Jones has now got out to a 0.7 of a second lead. That could all change now that Herfoss is up into second position and the carrot is being well and truly dangled in front of him.
Well, it certainly is. We're going to see what Herfoss can do now. He's got clear track. He's got the prize in front of him. He wants that win. His sister's getting married today. He's got to win for her. He wants to win for his friend Ben. He's in form. He's got it all to play for here. The bike's working and he's doing the lap times. 0.7, the gap.
So Troy Herfoss has not had a win this year, but he's very wide through turn 6, but he's able to square it off and get the drive. The good news for Troy is that Max and also Josh Waters all followed him on that line. They all got way too deep into the final corner at turn 6.
I think that's his line, you know what I mean? Like, I think he's worked out that he can get away with that line by going in deep.
Was he touching the dirt there on the exit of turn 1 as well? I saw some bits of dirt come puffing up.
That's right. Yep, he's using all the track and a little bit more.
Well, he paid his full entry fee. May as well get his full money's worth.
That's it.
As they make their way down the back straight now. Have a look at the lap times on the last lap. Jones and Herfoss in the 107. Stouffer at 108.3, 108.1 for Josh Waters, 108.0 for Arthur Cece. So Arthur's still charging along in 5th position. This will be his best ride of the season so far for Arthur Cece.
Definitely the most consistent lap time wise.
Well, his previous best finish was 7th, Steve, in race 2 at Sydney Motorsport Park.
I tell you, Waters is coming along too, isn't he? He's sticking in there, 108.1 for him. So, you know, he's. I just think that he's struggling to pass at this circuit, though.
Look at this battle. Crew Halliday now closed up onto the back of Brock Pearson. Pearson runs wide. Halliday says, thank you very much. He's straight up the inside. Here's Crew Halliday. Next target, Glenn Allerton. Yeah. Westy hang on to the back of them as well on board the Addicted to Track machine. There's Brian Starring just ahead of them.
108.2 just did his fastest lap of the race, did Brian Starring, now that he's got a bit of track in front of him. Clear track. Brock seems to be struggling a little.
Well, Crew needs to get points here because he's still sitting in 2nd place in the championship. So wants to make sure that he goes to the next round at Morgan Park in Queensland, where he took his first ever Superbike race victory. Still in 2nd position in the championship.
Yeah, Crew's got the pace to get in front of these guys. Just watch this move by Crew on the Ducati replay. Holds that tight line, very good mid-corner grip. Just absolutely blitzes the mid-corner speed, keeps that roll speed up, gets on the gas and drives out and stays in front of the number 11. Good job.
Speaking of reasonable drive, look at that man there. Came into the weekend under a sickness cloud, hasn't trained for 2 weeks. He'll probably not be training for 2 weeks before the next round as well after this performance.
Yeah, pretty impressive stuff, what he's doing out there now. Like, he's dangled the carrot and then he's just like taken it away and he is gone.
0.2 of a second once again in Sector 2. That's got to be his strong point of the track. That flowing the 2 left-hand corners. Oh, Max is in there very wide, trying to get around that back marker. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but he was lucky to not run out onto the green plate on the exit of turn 6.
Yeah, well, I don't think
still holding down second, but importantly, Steve, 0.7 of a second buffer over Josh Waters.
Yeah,
2 laps to go.
Yep. To see on the Ducati replay again. He went in there so deep.
I think it was trying to get around that back marker.
It was.
Michael Kemp got the short back and sides.
He's managed to make it work, though, hasn't he? So didn't lose too much there, but nevertheless, Mike's backed it off now to 108.0. Herfoss 108.4, so he's still like half a second a lap quicker.
At 108.5 for Josh Waters too.
I think that Jones is going to go into demolition mode now. He's just going to like smoke him.
So I'm not sure if Max is going to be more happy with 2nd place in the first race or actually racing a little bit with Troy Herfoss in the 2nd race.
Just being on that podium every time, that's going to give him the confidence, and that win will come. You know, like, it's every time he gets on there now, it's super important because it proves to him that he belongs on the podium.
And that's his third podium in 3 races too.
There you go.
Sydney Motorsport Park Race 2, 2 podiums here this weekend as Westy goes up the inside of Brock Pearson. Down into Ducati corner, getting the better of the Desmo Sport Ducati. Pearson fights back immediately. The young real estate agent from the Gold Coast says, no, you don't. I want to get back down here and take up the running. And they are battling for 9th and 10th position.
Yeah, it's hard to believe, isn't it? Westy looks like he's going to try and nip up the inside.
Oh,
wow.
I thought that Westy was going to go through, and then he didn't at the last minute. And Pearson had to look over his shoulder to say, what are you doing, Westy?
Interesting.
Halliday up the inside of Starring.
Yeah, Halliday.
And Allerton back up the inside of Starring as well.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Halliday's got some really good grip at this part of the race.
But there's also battles going on all the way back through the pack. The only battle that's not taking place is the battle for the race lead, because Mike Jones has completed 15 laps. He's on the last lap now. Oh, big crash, that's Westy. Westy has gone down at the entry into turn 4. So that was a big crash there for Ant West.
Yeah, let's hope that Westy's all right. We'll hopefully get a look at that. But
checkered flag for Mike Jones. He takes the victory. It will be about a 3-second victory, 2.8 seconds to be exact, over Troy Herfoss. Max Stouffer will take 3rd on the podium. Josh Waters will take 4th. But wow, what a last couple of laps from Mike Jones. That lead went from 1.9 seconds to 2.2 to 2.4, and then at the end, 2.8 seconds. As Johnny Littress comes across the line, he will finish in 11th position. Great result there for the Superbike rookie, Supersport champion from a couple of years ago. The local Queenslander doing a good job in his debut year on board the R1 Superbike. There's Westy walking away. It had been a good race up until then, Steve, but been an even better race for that man there, Mike Jones. What a weekend. Well, congratulations to Mike Jones. He takes the win over Troy Herfoss by 2.8 seconds. Redemption from last year. Max Stouffer, 3rd podium in a row on board the Penrite Racing Yamaha, and a great result for him in 3rd place. Josh Waters in 4th. Arthur Cece's a great ride for the South Australian in his debut for Stop and Seal Racing in 5th. Crew Halliday recovered from 11th on the first lap to 6th. Glenn Allerton in 7th. Brian Starring in 8th. Brock Pearson in 9th. And Cameron Dunker rounds out the top 10, Steve. Another great ride from the youngster.
Yeah, good ride by John Littress. He's still learning that R1, but he's getting there. Ryan Yanko and his Ducati as well. Good to see him up there in 12th. Josh Sutherland, Eddie Leeson, Michael Edwards. Well, he had a good dice with Paris Hardwick there in 16th. Ant West, well, unfortunately, he only had a couple of 100 metres to go. Ty Lynch only managed a couple of laps, and Michael Kemp, well, we saw him. He got lapped at the end, but you know what? He's improving all the time too.
So Mike Jones comes back, celebrates with the crew. Liam Dillon there all congratulating him after that sensational result. I reckon he's pretty happy with that one. 2 thumbs up and 2 number 1s for the weekend. In fact, it was 3 number 1s, really, wasn't it? Because pole position, 2 race wins, a lap record. Weekends, Steve Martin, do not come any better than that.
They do not. He's done the trifecta, the perfecta, and what a job he's done.
The perfecta.
The perfecta.
Is that one that you can take on the sports bet?
I don't know, but if you were going to get one, it'd be called the Mad Mike.
And there's your championship points after 2 Alpine Star Superbike races here at Queensland Raceway. Josh Waters on 144.5. Crew Halliday holds on to 2nd place, just over his teammate Mike Jones in 112.5 in 3rd place. Max Stouffer up into 4th place on 98. Brock Pearson in 5th. Troy Herfoss in 6th. Dunker in 7th. Starring in 8th. Voigt in 9th. And Ant West rounds out the top 10. It's time to hear from our top 3. Chris?
Yeah, thank you very much. Here with 3rd place man, Max Stouffer. I mean, coming into this round, would you have believed if someone told you this is going to be your 3rd podium in a row? Your form is on.
Yeah, look, I'm happy. This is my first ever double podium, and I've got a front row. So really, I can't thank the Penrite Racing Superbike team enough. My family, dad, mum, my grandma, my grandparents, mama and fafa, my 2 sisters, Abby and Ruby. Just everyone that helps me. I can't thank everyone enough. Dion, Heath, Freebie, Granger, Christy. You know, Mark from Race Safe, all my family back home and my friends. I just can't thank everyone enough.
And that was a cracking race. Did you think you had a chance to get Troy back?
Yeah, I did. I was actually catching him towards the end of the race, and he caught two lappers, and I was just in such a bad spot. I lost so much time with the both of them. I was like, sort of frustrated, but, you know, I'm happy at the same time because I still rode a great race, and Troy's a great competitor, and he's raced my dad a lot, so it was nice to have a bit of a battle with him.
Yeah, it was great to see. Congratulations.
Thank you.
There you go, third place, man. Like I said, really good to see. Go from inexperienced to one of the most experienced guys here, Troy Herfoss. Good to see you back on the podium. Congratulations on that ride.
Thank you, mate. That's pretty cool. Yeah, Jamie was one of my first teammates at Honda, and just like such a legendary teammate. Just went above and beyond to help me all my career, set me up to be the rider I am. And Max was just like, I think Max retired when he was 70. He'd done everything he could in Australian dirt track, and he was going to play cricket, but word is that he wasn't very good, and we're sure happy that he's back here now. So congratulations to Max. It was an honour to battle with him in that race, but I just got to say thank you to the Desmo Sport Ducati team for just doing what they do, working 100% above and beyond, and dealing with my frustrations and my jet lag and whatever. That's all excuses. I had a great time. I'm glad I could give this podium to them. Had their home track, and man, there's some fans out here. It's so good to see Australian racing. It's on the up. It's cool.
It is on the up, and they're all here to see you and you guys. So well done. Congratulations.
Thanks, Chris.
There you go, Troy Herfoss. Unfortunately, we're not going to see him at the next round, which is a shame for us, but he's other commitments in America. But the man of the day, pole position, new lap record, 2 race wins. Mike Jones, dream come true.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a perfect weekend here for me. You know, it's a little bit expected because it's a home round for myself and the team, and, you know, we had a really good test leading up to it. But, you know, even though you might have all things going for you, it's still nerve-wracking, and you still got to put it all in place. And when you've got such stiff competition, you know, it keeps you on your toes, and that's what that race was. You know, although that I was able to run that race how I would like to, which is sort of got to the front a little bit early on and sort of set the pace, I kept looking at my board, and I could see the gap wasn't really opening up a whole lot. It was stayed pretty tight. So I just kept pushing, tried to stay as in the zone as I possibly could. And yeah, very happy to come away with such a fantastic result. And just quickly before we go, just say a special thanks to the Yamaha racing team. I mean, those guys are doing a fantastic job to give me the bike that I need, and also to my personal sponsors, and of course everybody that's been here this weekend for the entertainment. I hope you enjoyed it.
Well, you are the entertainer. You did a great job. Thanks, Mike.
Cheers. Thanks.
Back to you guys.
Well, thank you very much, Chris, and congratulations to Mad Mike Jones and the Yamaha racing team. The perfect weekend. Well, we've had the first 3 rounds of the championship. The good news is that we've got a little bit of a break now for all of those riders to get ready for the next round of the championship, the 12th to the 14th of July at Morgan Park Raceway. Not too far from here at Warwick in Queensland. And once again, we expect a massive crowd to turn out here. ProMX is on next weekend at Gilman in South Australia. If you like watching the Simpson brothers in Supersport 300, get down to Gilman on the 5th of May because they'll be racing in the ProMX category in the 450s. So that's going to be certainly a great spectacle. But unfortunately, that's the last lap here at Queensland Raceway for the Australian Superbike Championships Round 3. Can't wait to catch up with you again at Morgan Park.